Returning now to our top story, ultra-marathon runner Pat Farmer is running in Sydney this morning and will arrive at the Opera House within the next hour. Independent MP Dr Sophie joined Pat as he completed the Northern Beaches leg a short time ago. I caught up with Dr Scobbs at the end of the run.
Oh, it was incredible. What he's doing is absolutely amazing. He's running 80 kilometres a day. He's been doing it since April, and he's running around the entire country. And you wouldn't do that unless you believed wholeheartedly in the voice. And it was really exciting to be able to join him, people from the community joining in as well. So I really feel the momentum's getting behind this yes vote.
And I could also see behind you there's a number of yes supporters. You've got quite a lot of people that have turned out to support you and of course, Pat.
Yeah, people here are really positive, and I personally feel like it's a bit of a 2000 Olympics moment. There was a lot of negativity before the 2000 Olympics, but when it came, Australians embraced it, and it's one of the best parts of our recent history. And I feel like momentum's building towards this yes vote. And it's our opportunity to show what type of people we are here in Australia. And I believe, like we saw with the Matildas, we're big-hearted, we're generous, and we're courageous. And I'm really looking forward to this referendum, and we can show what we're made of.
Polling does suggest, though, that the yes vote won't get up. Does there need to be an urgent change in strategy or a different approach for this to get over the line?
Look, I think as we get closer to the referendum, there's still a lot of people who are switched off. I think as people build towards the referendum, we'll build excitement and awareness about what this opportunity actually is. And it really is such a simple offer. And that is just to have an advisory body and to hear people's opinions on issues that affect them. And it's that simple. We don't need the waters to be muddied. We just need to know that this is a simple advisory body.
And there are reports this morning that the date for the referendum will be announced in the next 2 weeks, with October 14 firming as the likely favourite date. That's just under 2 months away. Is that enough time to convince Australians, do you think?
Yeah, 100%. I think momentum's building, people becoming more aware, and what Pat Farmer's doing by running around the whole country is bringing attention to what we've got ahead of us. It's always the way. In the lead up to elections or referendums, people get more involved and more excited as we get closer to the date, and that's what I can sense happening here.
What happens, though, if the referendum does not succeed? The Prime Minister has already said that there won't be another vote if this does fail. So what should happen next?
Well, it is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and we need to grasp it. And I think it'll be such a sad day if it doesn't get up. And it's our opportunity, as I said, to really step forward on a positive note into the future. We know that whatever we've been doing for our Indigenous and First Nations people has failed to date. For decades, it's failed. And this is simply asking people's opinion, on issues that affect them. It's so simple and it makes so much sense. And we know that we can have far better outcomes if we simply listen. And also listening, as a doctor, I know that if you listen, it's such a sign of respect. And that is what has been missing from our treatment with our First Nations people. And it's such a gracious offer. The Uluru Statement of the Heart is a hand out held, an offer for us to walk with them into the future. And I think Australians have these wonderful, generous and courageous hearts, and we can live up to this moment.
And as a doctor yourself, how do you see the Voice to Parliament bridging the gap between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians?
Well, as I said, simply being listened to is such a powerful way of healing. And there's deep wounds that go back many, many decades. So starting with listening is showing a sign of respect, and giving that respect just grows that healing, heals those traumas, but also it'll mean that there's very practical outcomes into the future. If we don't sit down together and get people's opinions on what is going to affect them, then of course we're going to make mistakes. We need to be realistic. We need to make this common sense step, and that is just simply listening to people on issues that affect them. And if we don't listen, we're doing it wrong, and we have been doing it wrong. And I know as a medical student, I worked up in Arnhem Land for some time. There were crazy things going on up there. We had that if they had simply listened to the people that it was going to affect, wouldn't have happened. Had housing that was more suited to people living in Tasmania than in the Northern Territory. They had a caravan, an health education caravan that they thought would be a good idea to go around to all those remote communities. So simple, and it's common sense.
Before we let you go, I know that you're an Australian athletics record holder. Did you give Pat Farmer any advice as he completes his run across Australia? Did you give him any words of wisdom?
Oh, no, there's no advice I can give him. He's running 80 kilometres a day. All I know is that he's an inspiration to me. I need to step up and get fitter again. And he is such an inspiration. And as he said, he wouldn't do this if he didn't believe wholeheartedly in the voice and what it means for Australia. So he's my inspiration. I don't think it's the other way around.
Well, it looks like it's been a wonderful morning out there on the Northern Beaches. Independent MP Dr. Sophie Scobbs, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for your time.
Australia's largest